Hello, hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome to this, our final episode of the Evolve show for this calendar year. I know, Evolve show in current calendar year, lol. Anyway, welcome, everybody. So today we have a very special show for you. We have got a plethora of Evolve employees on right now. We're going to start the show with two very special guests. We're going to have Haley and Jesse on. Let's show them. They can't talk just yet. I want the stage for a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and talk over them for a little bit. We have Jesse to my, that is my right. Is that my right? I don't know. That way. And then we got Haley down below us. These are two of our PR representatives. They are here to talk about a year at Evolve. We're going to talk to them for about half an hour, and then we are going to be switching and bringing a whole different crew of Evolve peeps on. So let's go ahead and bring them on. Jesse and Haley, you may now speak. Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
Hello.
So,
I think I sound okay.
you think you're okay?
Think my sound levels are all right?
Just project.
Okay.
All right. So as I said,
from the diaphragm, Jesse.
yes, from the diaphragm, speak from your stomach. Sound is good. All right, we have got the A-OK from Chris that the sound is good. We are here to talk about the year that has been a year at Evolve. Now, for Haley and myself, that's kind of a misnomer, as neither of us have actually been with Evolve for a year. But Jesse's a bit of an old hat at this. Jesse, how long have you been with Evolve?
But about 2 years. Yeah.
About 2 years. And so I guess one of my questions for you is sort of how have you seen the company sort of change a little bit over those couple years that you've been, I guess other than the wonderful additions that you have with you here in the cast.
Boy, I mean, like when I first started, it was a rather smaller team. And then as the years have gone on, yeah, I mean, like you said, the team has gotten a lot larger. Work with a lot of cool people. Terminals is a pretty big thing that has actually helped us in a lot of ways, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. But yeah, I mean, really, it's just sort of been pretty crazy over the years, just working with a lot of cool developers and publishers, and yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned terminals. We'll just get into that right away then. There have been some really huge changes with terminals. Even just over the past couple months, we've seen huge changes. The newsfeed being one. How has this sort of changed how you guys have pitched games? You guys are both PR representatives. How has this changed how you guys deal with the clients and with pitching in media and such?
I think this is just coming in new. Like, this is all, Jesse will be a little bit more able to talk about the past because he's been here for a while. But for me, like, I came in and Terminals was already in a really good working state. But I love the news feed. It makes it so easy to just drop my news in, and as soon as it pops up on the front page, it helps get it out there, right? So if I miss someone, it's there on the front page.
Yeah. I mean, before Terminals, I would basically have to use some sort of version of Google Forms or Google Doc, like a spreadsheet, to save everything, and I still do to a certain degree, but it was a lot of jumping between different forms and trying to figure out who's interested in what and how I'm going to allocate keys and everything like that. So it was very time consuming on a level of literally just jumping between different types of spreadsheets. And now with Terminals, we can kind of somewhat automate that process, which helps us, like, anytime that we can cut down on the manual timing, like, just helps us be able to reach out to more people and get more keys in the hands of people, which is, I think, good for everybody.
Nice. All right, now this is going to be probably the most important question that I am going to ask you tonight. So I need to make sure, all cards on the table, they were pre-warned about this question. So
Making me nervous.
What was your favorite use of the Tub Gerald? this year. So for those who don't know, Tub Geralt is basically
It's
Geralt.
Geralt.
Sorry, I always say Geralt. Tub Geralt is a meme. Geralt is the hero from the Witcher series, and we here at Evolve like to put him in a tub and various other circumstances. You might remember for Thanksgiving, he was in a turkey boat, in a gravy boat,
That was
or
so
gravy
good.
boat. He was in a gravy boat. What was your favorite use of the Tub Geralt this year, Jesse?
Well, I think just how it even started is a pretty awesome story. And I don't know if we really got into it, but it was literally like Tom on a whim just being like, I'm just gonna take that in Photoshop and make a layer of it. And then he made that layer and then tweeted it out, and the next thing you know, like everybody's using it in so many different versions. Like I remember somebody put him in the bay of San Francisco, right around there. And like had like the golden, I think there was like the Golden Gate Bridge, and there was like some sort of like there was like a fog layer over it, so it was super misty around there. It was really nice. I mean, I still have it saved as one of the photos on my phone. So anytime I see anything where I could stick him in there, I'm like, I'm gonna do this now. But yeah, I don't really have like a specific one in general. It's just hilarious that something on a whim like that could just be made and shared. I guess that's internet memes, right? But whatever.
I think my favorite was when they announced that Poland was getting a line of Witcher stamps, and everyone got real offended that wasn't one of the stamps initially out of the gate, and someone ended up photoshopping it. And I don't know whatever became of it, but that's just, I've seen some pretty interesting European stamps, but I think that would be one that I would have to, I'm starting a stamp collection specifically for this stamp.
Right.
Yeah, the Tub Geralt stamp would absolutely be, the bestseller stamp, I think. Poland, get on it. Alright, so The Witcher isn't really an indie game, but let's swing into indie games a little bit. What was the best indie game this year in your two very, very educated opinions? What was the best indie game? I mean, the AAA games get all the news for you guys. Best indie games, go.
I'm gonna go Hyper Light Drifter was definitely one of my favorite indie games this year. I had to really think about this one because initially my default for this question is what's your favorite indie game is always Shovel Knight. But at this point, Shovel Knight's a few years old, so can't really count it, even though it's my favorite. But this year specifically, Hyper Light Drifter, amazing soundtrack, fantastic gameplay, just, absolutely beautiful game.
I think there's too many to list. I mean, I literally sat here and kind of sifted through a list of all the games I played this year, which I didn't really have a solid list of everything I had played, so I was just going through an online list of everything in 2012 and picking out games. And so, I mean, I would say my favorite is probably Enter the Gungeon, mostly because I would just turn the music off and just play playlists through Spotify. And it was just a nice sort of relaxation. I know it's not a very relaxing game because it's sort of a lot of reflexes that go into it, but it was just a nice time to basically kick back and listen to some music that I've been wanting to listen to while shooting some guys. But I mean, between that, there was The Flame and the Flood. I really enjoyed that. Inside, I played straight through on Extra Life, and that was super awesome. Headlander was really cool, and then of course The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth finally came out on consoles or on PS4 this year. So it's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of good games. I could keep going.
So now I'm gonna make you crunch down even more. What was your favorite gaming moment? And by that, a game that you played. What moment in game either got you emotionally, you were crying or you were super excited or amazed or anything? What was your favorite gaming moment?
I can't say too much because my favorite gaming moment is a huge spoiler for the game for Bravely Second. So all I will say is my favorite gaming moment from Bravely Second. It did make me cry, but that's all I'm gonna say, because anything else is a spoiler for a fantastic JRPG that everyone should go play. Go buy it right now.
Mine's pretty recent, actually. We're working on this game called One Shot, and I can't really say much either, because it like super goes into spoiler territory, but it breaks the fourth wall in ways that like literally like made me chuckle to myself multiple times while I was playing. It's definitely worth playing, especially if you like the art of something like Hyper Light Drifter, but you're looking for more of like a puzzle adventure game.
If you liked take a lot of time. Play One Shot. If you're a Terminals user, we do still have keys. Pop in after the stream, request one, I'll get you one, because I just finished One Shot as well, and it kind of the same kind of thing with Bravely Second about fourth wall breaking that I can't say too much about, but
super cool.
It was so really good.
I've never experienced puzzles in a game like that before, and it's hard to say that nowadays in video games, so it's worth playing.
And I've heard the Undertale really comparison. Good. I've definitely heard that, if you liked Undertale, this is probably up your
definitely up your alley.
That is. Up your alley, thank you. I can't speak. But yeah, I'm a huge Undertale fan as well. Alright, so we've talked about games a little bit, and I know Haley was talking a little bit about this before we went live. What was your favorite gaming merchandise that you got this year? What was something that was really cool for you?
That's okay. Full disclosure, I'm a toy collector. So to ask me to pick, Jesse's got something.
No, keep going.
You gave me the pause. I'm a toy collector, so I'm always like picking things up. As you can see behind me though, this is all Mega Man stuff right here above my shoulder. I'm a huge Mega Man fan. And I think it would do like my collection a huge injustice to just pick one thing. Because I got a lot of really cool things this year. I got, I don't know, I can't pick just everything. Everything I got this year is my favorite.
Show us some, just a couple. Give us a couple highlights.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start with I got all my Mega Man Funkos, but I did get the 3 GameStop exclusive boxes. So we got the gold one, the black and white one, and the quick boomerang one. He's pink. And I do have as of today, I have every single Mega Man Funko. So I have all the Mega Man color variants. There's 3 more that I'm not gonna lean over: Proto Man, Rush, and Dr. Wily. What else did I get? Oh man, I got a really cool Proto Man cup. I got the wearable helmet and the blaster. I actually got both of those this year. I have a lot of stuff. I should have worn the helmet for the stream, but it wouldn't have worked with the headset, so.
All right, Jesse, what did you go and grab?
I got this sweet mead horn from Logic Artists. It's for Expeditions Viking, which comes out next year. So we actually made these before PAX East. We got these the little pewter on there. It's kind of hard to see, but it actually has the Expeditions Viking logo on there. We got those made and basically glued a bunch of these to mead horns and gave them out to specific people at PAX East, and you can actually drink out of it. It's like a drinkable horn. So I don't have any beer or mead right now, which is kind of a sin on my part, but each of the horns are actually made from horn, and they're not they're totally vegan in the way that they don't harm animals or anything like that. But yeah, you can actually drink from them. So they're all shaped a little bit differently too. So this is probably one of my favorite things. I guess it's just my favorite because it's just so unique in its own way. So
that's super cool.
Yeah.
For me, I actually don't have it here. I'm in a different location. But my favorite thing I got this year, being a huge Undertale nerd, has got to be my Toriel plushie. I got the Toriel plushie, and then I also have I went and got the Undertale shirts from Fangamer, and then my signed copy of Determination.
Hey, did you remember my copy of Determination?
I'll talk to Rich. Because no, I didn't. I'll talk to Rich.
Is it vinyl or?
No, it's
No,
a
it's
CD.
not.
It's a physical.
Okay.
Yeah, that my signed copy of Determination is probably one of the, because I got it signed by the two guys that did it. We're friends, and that was really cool as well. So that's kind of my favorite swag that I got. So I know Jesse's been to a lot of cons this year. Haley, I'm not so sure how many you've been to, and I've been to a couple as well. Let's talk about what was your favorite con moment. Why was it your favorite con moment? Where was it? Let's hear it. Jesse, you go first.
Oh, I liked the Evolve party that we had at PAX West. That was probably one of my favorites this year. I'm 35. I'm kind of old, so I kind of like a super chill party. But it was actually pretty kicking. There wasn't a ton of people there, but there was enough to make it feel like a party. And just avoiding Candace's shots, those whiskey shots, man. She kept feeding us whiskey. Like, there was a point where I was just like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom because I don't want to take this next one. So, yeah. I mean, that was probably that's I guess it's a big thing, right? We work for a remote company. We're all based across different areas of North America for the most part, and so getting to hang with your colleagues in person is some of the cooler times that I have. So,
Haley, how about you?
What did I do for cons this year? I went to MagFest. This was my second MagFest in 2016, and two really cool things happened at MagFest. One, I met one of the three creators of Reboot, Gavin Blair, and I had him sign one of my Reboot art books, which is really cool. As a Canadian, I grew up on Reboot. I remember watching, being allowed to stay up late to watch Reboot when I was little. So that's a big part. That was really exciting for me. And then, obviously, Ninja Sex Party was there. And I got to see Ninja Sex Party perform with Tupperware Remix Party. And I was with a bunch of my favorite people. So that kind of moment is just icing on the cake. It started 2016 out really well. So
I went to MagFest as well. We didn't know each other at the time, so
No.
we didn't actually hang out at MagFest last year. But and MagFest was absolutely amazing for me. I have to say though, for myself, my biggest con moment was E3. So right after actually I started working for Evolve, I got sent to E3, and that was such a big thing for me because I remember being 12 years old and sitting and watching E3 on TV and being like, oh man, that'd be so cool if I got to go to that one day. And I remember, we pulled up to the convention center, you see it all, it's like, I'm here. And not only that, I'm getting sent to work here. That was such a big moment for me to just be like, I cannot believe that I am at E3 and everything. And it was a bucket list moment for me. Absolutely bucket list moment for me. The whole convention was great. And I got to meet Jesse for the first time at it. And we kind of got to work together a little bit at one of the booths.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's
E3 definitely the banner moment.
It's busy.
For me.
It's a busy event.
For sure. TwitchCon again was also amazing. I went to TwitchCon this year as well. TwitchCon's always great. But yeah, it's hard to beat the bucket list of E3 moment there.
Mhm.
So this is kind of going back to what we had talked about before, and but what is a game that you guys can think of that a lot of people kind of missed the boat on, but they really shouldn't have? Can you guys think of a game that kind of flew under everyone's radar, but it's really just a great game? And I can think of one that we actually had, and that is Inversus.
Yeah.
That was a
Inversus
game
was
that
really
was a
good.
great game, and it flew under everyone's radar, and you should check it out. It's a cute little, you're like a cube, and it's kind of like a shooter almost. It's hard to explain. It doesn't...
Yeah.
Yeah. The graphics aren't, super, colorful or anything like that, but it's really fun.
Yeah, I feel like the graphics, just the the design in itself. The design is cool, but it's one of those that could be a little unassuming. Like you don't realize how much complexity is there until you actually start playing it, and then kind of once you understand some of the nuances in it, as far as blocking shots that come at you, it really becomes a fun couch co-op experience. But
I was really bad at it.
Same. Bryden destroyed me in it repeatedly.
Rude. So Bryden's fired.
Right? Is there any ones that you guys can think of off the top of your head? Sorry.
I mean, it's a little early to say that like one shot will fall under the radar, but I hope it doesn't, because it's like a really cool game. It's just hitting like right near the end of the year, so most people probably I'd be surprised if it gets brought up in any sort of game of the year conversations. But
I don't know how many influencers are, but I actually got an invite to the One Shot Discord. There are 300 members already in the One Shot Discord, and it's exciting because they're all talking about like their little theories and stuff, and it's so cool to see, because it's a game that I worked on and am absolutely in love with. So I'm like, I hope it does well. I don't want it to fly under people's radar. And
yeah.
Nice. All right. So we are, as I said, we are gonna start to wind down here. Let's see, where do I want to go here? Well, let's go to the important question. I'm not sure if Jesse's actually going to be able to answer this one too well, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to. What is your favorite Pokemon?
Oh, this is an easy one. My favorite Pokemon is Ampharos.
Ampharos, really?
I love Ampharos. Like I love the whole Mareep line, but especially when they introduced Mega Ampharos, like Fabio looking electric sheep Pokemon, just like that is 100. That's like the 100% emoji right there.
Jesse, I don't know. Do you play Pokemon on the regular?
I've never played a Pokemon game.
Pick one.
The garbage bag.
Nice, good choice. He's actually really good. He's actually really good Pokemon. To be
I don't know.
Did you actually know that there was a garbage bag Pokemon, or were you just
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say okay?
No, I knew. Mostly from podcasts I listen to. They're like, "There's like a garbage bag Pokemon." I was like, I gotta see this. And yes, there is. All right.
I have to say for myself, before the new Pokemon Sun and Moon, Fennekin was by far my favorite, but Alola Vulpix has absolutely, and Alola Ninetales has absolutely taken over as my number one. You can't go wrong with them ice attacks, and she's so pretty.
They are super pretty.
So pretty.
For Sun and Moon, I have to go with my girl Serena all the way.
Nice.
Yeah, just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
So-
if the next one comes to Switch, maybe I'll pick one up finally.
They're good games, man. They're real good games, and they're getting more. Even the last one, the story in it really was a lot more prominent than the lots of the other ones.
Looked like there were a lot of QuickTime not QuickTime battles, but like battles that would happen quickly if you like wandered off into grass. That's all I saw. I kept watching a bunch of Twitch streams, and you'd like take 2 steps in the grass, and all of a sudden it's like boom, another battle, boom.
Yeah.
That actually is a good thing later on. So talking about Twitch, could you guys think of your favorite Twitch moment or a Twitch moment that really stuck out in your head this past year?
Lobos Jr. did a Halloween stream where he dressed up as Diva from Overwatch. And Lobos is a beardy dude. And he shaved his beard for it. And I was like, who is this baby? Like, it was... And he got, like, not super in character, but he did get into character. It was fantastic. He did another one recently, but the Halloween one, I was like, I need to watch this. You still have nightmares. I'm sorry. I thought it was hilarious.
Lobos, why? All right, Jesse, what
Nice.
about yourself?
I didn't really have any memorable experiences watching anything on Twitch. It was mostly just being at TwitchCon, and really meeting so many nice people who were there. So I don't know if that really counts, but
We'll take it.
yeah, it definitely like. I mean, there were like lots of little things that I thought were like, I guess they were memorable, but it was nothing like mind blowing to me. So, like going back to that Twitch Pokemon stream, he was Mr. Happy 1227, I think that's his name. He was basically naming all of his Pokemon after people who were in his Twitch stream, and like watching people get super stoked about it was probably like one of the cooler things I've seen, where it's like you're taking the video game you're playing and like involving your audience in it. It's really cool.
So this was your first TwitchCon, was it, Jesse?
Yeah.
So compared to some of the other cons, like, how did you feel about it?
I thought it was super intimate, really. I mean, I don't know if it was just the overall size compared to something like an E3 or a PAX, but it was nice to see people on multiple days, and then like basically by like the third day, you knew a fair amount of people there. Like even if you didn't already have a relationship with somebody there, by the third day, you really could just go up and kind of talk to somebody about, you know, whatever you've seen over the course of the weekend. And the creative area was super cool. That was probably like one of my favorite areas. So I don't want to tread territory that we might have talked about before, but yeah.
For sure. No, that was great. All right, we do have to wrap up this half of the show. We are out of time, but is there anything else that you guys want to say before we head off for the year? Well, before these two head off for the year, I'm still going to come back with some more Evolve employees. Go ahead, you guys.
Mega Man 3 is the best Mega Man. That's not my opinion, that's fact.
I'm more of a Mega Man X person, but...
That's fair. I guess.
Yeah. Nope.
Nothing,
I don't
Jesse?
really have any... Nope. Say hi to me if you ever see me in person somewhere.
And answer these people's emails, please. Even if it's a no. A no is better than no answer at all.
I mean, I can just keep emailing you if you want. I'm sure you don't want that.
If you don't reply to our emails, we're gonna start like filling your Twitter DMs. Like,
yeah. No, I try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Unless I absolutely have to.
Pay attention to us. Well, that's just real quick before we go. That's why I've kind of dubbed myself as the sassy robot, is because there was a time where I had to do some pitches and I didn't have contact emails, so I was trying to get people to open their DMs or DM me, and this one guy genuinely thought I was a spam robot, and I was like, "That's it. This is gonna stick now."
Nice.
All right. Well, as I said, guys, we do have to say goodbye to Jesse and Haley, but we are bringing on 3 other very fine Evolve employees. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a different set of Evolve employees for you. Hang tight, guys, and we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. We are back, and I have got a new set of Evolve staff for you. We have got... There we go. We have got Matt, Chris, and Cassandra, or Cass, as we like to call her, with the hats. And we are going to bring them in and let them speak. Hello, guys. You are live.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
So, just a quick introduction. I know we had the bio slides about, half an hour ago or so, but if you guys could just give us a quick intro as to who you are and what you do at Evolve, that'd be great. Matt, you can start because you are to my right.
Okay. I am part of Evolve's research team. I kind of head up most of our initiatives. If you've ever emailed the terminal's address looking for help, you've probably gotten a reply from me.
Nice. Chris, who are you? What do you do?
Okay, well, I am one of the new research members at Evolve PR. I've been here for around 3 months, and I'm usually the person who will be tracking information and looking at tons of coverage during the day.
And last but certainly not least, my Saskatchewan partner in Saskatchewan, What do you do, Cass?
I'm Cass with the hat, apparently, and I'm completely okay with that. I'm basically the resident cyberstalker, like Chris. I am the other new research person, been here for 3 months, and yeah, I just make sure that games you like get to you.
Nice. All right. So we are talking about the year that has been a year in Evolve. Now, for Cass and Chris and I, similar to Haley, we actually haven't been around for a whole year yet. We're still pretty new to this. But Matt, for you, how long have you been with Evolve?
Year and quarter, I guess. Yeah, about a year and 3 months.
So could you just kind of go into a little bit of what are some of the big changes that you've seen since you've been at Evolve?
Obviously, this video stuff is a big change. We adapted that about 6 months ago. 6 months ago, we kind of brought you and we have another guy on, and that's obviously been a big thing. But research, our department has gone through a lot of permutations over the last year, and it's settled into a really kind of interesting space now. We're trying to answer a lot of questions that I think are bigger than what you expect out of a PR firm.
No, I completely agree. I really like the different, like, weird, like, more in-depth research projects you've been getting into, like, especially these, like, next few months, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. And actually being, like, on the inside and getting to see how we're gathering that information is really interesting.
Even in the short time that you guys have been here, Chris and Cass, we've seen a lot of changes to terminals, and we talked a little bit about that with Jesse and Haley, but you two are sort of a lot more intimate with terminals, as it were. You spend a lot more time on there, I'd argue. How has the changes in terminals changed how you do your job, even the short time you've been here?
I feel like we just have a lot more information now available. Like, it's a lot easier to search and stuff, honestly. And just using terminals, like, when I go to that page, it's so nice and clean looking, and I loved the newsfeed. Like, I realized a lot of people didn't like it and wanted to go back, but I freaking loved that news. Like, I love the newsfeed and actually because we work on a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of stuff. And the newsfeed has helped me really actually know and keep in touch with everything we're working on, even on stuff I might have no, like, connection to whatsoever. So that's nice. I really like the newsfeed.
Chris?
Yeah, I think the newsfeed is probably one of the bigger things too. I mean, there's a lot of internal elements which make my life much easier, which is what also something that I love. Exactly.
Secret Evolve.
No, exactly. Just it's just mostly like streamlining things. But the newsfeed is absolutely fantastic, and I think it's also the new element that we've been getting a lot of really solid feedback for. So yeah, and we're just going to keep going towards that. So
yeah, for sure. All right, so I did ask Kaylee and Jesse this, and I'm going to put you guys in the same spot. Best indie games. Best indie game of this year for yourself. Go. Matt.
I thought a lot about this one. There's an obvious answer, but I think somebody else wants to go for it, so let them have it. I think for me, Slayaway Camp was really, really interesting. It was originally a mobile game that came to PC this October, and it says it in my bio slide, it's very accurate. I love old horror movies, love slash movies, and it's an entire puzzle game made by people who used to work at PopCap about horror movies. It's beautiful, and it's got just some amazingly simple mechanics that they iterate on in some really curious ways as time goes on.
I actually had not heard of that one, so that's a new one for me. Chris, how about you?
It's kind of a hard choice. I'm really stuck between two really, really solid choices, which are not exactly similar at all. So Stardew Valley has to be one of my favorite games of the year so far. Any game that allows me to put in around 43 hours from the span of 3 days is going to be something that's going to stick with me for a while. And the other title, which did the exact same thing, would be Darkest Dungeon. So those two are definitely my two top games, especially, like, not even just indie games, probably top games this year.
Those are the games I chose not to mention because I knew you want to talk about them. I feel the exact same way. They were both absolutely amazing, total time suckers. I'm going to spend years with them probably.
Yeah, I've got to chime in on the Stardew Valley as well. I spent a ridiculous amount of time in Stardew Valley, so for sure. Cass, how about you?
Stardew Valley is also, like, very high up there, but I kind of have two. I think my, like, for gameplay, and the one I just really enjoy playing, and I actually just recently picked up, but I put a lot of hours into watching videos of it, is Planet Coaster. It's just amazing. But for more story-wise, was actually a game that we worked on that I only actually watched through very recently, but was Layers of Fear. I honestly loved that game. I loved everything they did with the story. I loved how they used... It wasn't all jump scares. Like, there was some times where I was just scared watching it because it was scary. Like, it was a really, really well done game. So it's kind of like my story one and then my gameplay top of the year.
Nice. And kind of like leading into that, what is it about, not even these games in particular, but what is it about games that will grab you and sort of say, like, that's my game of the year, or that was the best game this year? What in particular is it that grabs you? Story, gameplay, what is it?
For me, it's definitely always story. A good story gives everything an edge. I love stories in video games. That's why I spend so much time watching other people play like different stories that I like. So it's definitely story-wise for me. Really sets different games apart.
Chris?
Yeah, I think story and particularly theme are really key elements for me, especially both in video games and board games in general. And what I really like about Stardew Valley is that even though it's not necessarily story heavy, one of the big differences with other games that came before it, kind of like Harvest Moon, is that the individual stories of each character within the town are very real, right? They come get you. They're not just wholly positive. There's a few small scandals. There's a bit of tragedy, and that's just what makes it so much better. It also helps that it has like top-notch gameplay, but yeah.
Matt?
So my compass for what I personally look for in a game is kind of off 7 years of game editorializing, and then now, like, one of my big tasks at Evolve is kind of maintaining our internal release calendar. We definitely look at a lot of external stuff as well to kind of see what's going on out there. And as a result, I kind of keep an open mind for everything. Like, I like story, I like theme, a really interesting theme or conceit will get me, but like gameplay hooks are really important. It's just something that's not the norm. I think the ones, I can't really say what gets me, but the thing that turns me off is something that's just doing, even if it's doing it really well, something that's been done a million times before. It's not a great answer, but it's what I got.
All right. So you guys are all part of the research team at Evolve, and we've had a few different sort of little projects that have gone out. We had a PAX research project. Recently, you've had the we asked questions about Buzz and things like that. What out of all those research projects, and just in general, what you guys have learned with your time at Evolve has surprised you the most? Matt, I'll start with you since you're sort of the head here.
So the most surprising things I've learned, I can't really talk about because we're about to dive really deep into a big project kind of going into a lot of those things, and for the sake of bias and ethics and all that wonderful stuff, I don't really want to go into it. But I would just say, to give a nice general answer, the passion of general consumers, like of your average gamer, seeing how much they go after things has been, I mean, it's not surprising that they have that passion, but to see the depths of that passion has been really interesting.
Nice. Cass, Chris, have you found anything with your time at Evolve that, you know, once you sort of draw back the curtain, really surprised you that, you know, the average gamer or Twitch watcher might not think about?
It's hard to say on the research front. I mean, again, like for the same reasons that Matt indicated, like there's a lot we can't really talk about specifically because we are going to go pretty deep into it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's just a research thing more than it's just a personal thing in my case, specifically because I didn't really interact with social media in general, but just looking at the effects of influencers, the effects of communities, and how they sort of like create themselves around these, you know, people streaming, the type of games that they're talking about, the conversations they can have in them. To me, it reminds me a lot, and I'm going to date myself a bit, it reminds me a lot of the sort of hobby forums that you would find back in the mid-2000s, and even a bit before that. So yeah, that's been my big thing. So not specifically research, but, you know, fairly close enough to it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, on my end, I don't know. I think just in general, and not really on the research side, there was a lot of things going into this job that I wouldn't have known were things that you had to do for video game PR. Like when I was coming into this job, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna like tweet at people and get them to play games, and you find out there's all this like, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes into even just like getting an article up on a website in time for playing. And there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like there aren't any job that you just have no clue about until you're actually there. And it's been nice to see that stuff and the actual like a lot of hard work that goes into every single step of the process of getting a game in front of you. So,
and kind of in that thread, what sort of moment from the past year or past few months for the three of us sticks out in your mind sort of the most? Either you learned something, or it was exciting for you, or anything. What moment sort of sticks out the most for you from this past year? We'll go with Matt first.
Honestly, it's kind of been a blur. It's been a busy year, and it's a lot of stuff has happened. But the kind of thing that I keep coming back to on that is in doing the Buzz survey, doing verifications, in doing the terminals support stuff, I've seen a lot of response back from the people the press we work with on terminals, and seeing the positive things they have to say about what we do and how we do it has been really emboldening, and that's kind of been a central theme my entire time here at Evolve is seeing that appreciation.
Nice. Cass?
I actually think mine would be a very recent one, and to a game I'm very passionate about. But it was just this week, seeing old-time hockey blow up and actually show up on like actual sports media sites. That was awesome for me. Like I spent hours digging into these terrible sites trying to find any contact information, and seeing a little bit of fruit bloom from that was just an amazing experience. And it was something that I was like to my family, like, look, there's an article about my game on TSN. Like, it was awesome. It was a great moment. And shout outs to Bryden for making that happen too, because there was not a lot of information to go off of there. Like, yeah, it was a good moment.
Nice. Chris, how about you?
It's hard to really pinpoint a moment per se, to be quite honest. I mean, like I mentioned before, I didn't know much about the whole social media aspect of it. I was coming out of retail for video games and stuff like that. But the whole learning process behind, like, yeah, I can't say there's a moment. I really can't. Getting hired, I guess that was probably the most awesome moment.
It's a good moment.
It's a good moment. I think we can all attest that when we all got hired, that was a great moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have kind of like, obviously E3 for me was the moment for me this year, but sort of just a little anecdote that I had was the very first play video that I did. So the very first YouTube video I ever made, I made for Evolve, and it was on a game called Polybridge. And I was playing Overwatch with a couple of my friends last week, I think. And they were talking about Polybridge and how they build, like, they're playing the game and everything. And I just had this moment of, like, we worked on that game. And these guys, like, play that game. And they like it. And I just had this, yes, and there's Rexneck in the chat. He was actually one of the people. And so for me, especially because, like, that was the first play video I had ever made. That was the first YouTube video I had ever made, was Polybridge. It's got, like, that special little place in my heart forever. And so to hear other people that, totally just out of the blue enjoying it and loving it, it was just, that was a really cool moment for me. Kind of like you, Cass, where it's like, we work on these games and we love them, but to see other people just really latch onto them was a really, really cool moment for me. Anyway, so for you guys, and I asked this of Jesse and Haley, but I'm going to throw this at one at you as well. What was a game that a lot of people missed, that flew under people's radars, but they shouldn't have? They should have picked it up. What do you think? Indie, AAA, whatever. Any type of game at all. Let's start with Chris this time.
You said whatever, right?
Not board games. We'll get there.
I mean, I don't think it was missed that much per se, but it might have been limited in its outreach due to the console it was on. So on Wii U, it's by no means any type of small game, but Tokyo Mirage Sessions is probably one of the better RPGs that came out this generation. And I think that the fact that it's on the Wii U perhaps limited its audience a lot when it really shouldn't have. So if you do get the chance, the Wii U is going to be phasing out, with the Switch coming out. definitely try to grab one and definitely play that game. It's a fantastic JRPG. It has really unique aspects to it that, like, just every small bit of it is just crafted for the experience. Like, you're looking at your character sheets, your character status pages, and you'll have a picture of them with an autograph, right, just to symbolize the sort of J-pop industry, and it works really well. So all these little things that just make the game and the experience so much more. So yeah, definitely that.
Nice. Cass?
I'm gonna be honest, and I don't have a good answer for this one. I think everything that I really enjoyed this year, I think most people also picked up. So I think one that a lot of traditional media picked up, like all the websites picked up, was Rive, but I didn't see too many people playing it. And so I'd say if you haven't checked out Rive, it was honestly really good. I enjoyed the hell out of that game, even though I could barely finish it because it was way too hard for me, but I enjoyed what I could play of that game, so that'd be mine probably.
I have to agree, Rive was really, really good. I enjoyed that one. Very hard though. Very hard game, but good.
Yeah,
Matt?
it's so hard.
So the game I would pick here is Valhalla, though it's spelled weird. It's VA-11 Hall-A. Cyberpunk bartending action. It is a game that got a little bit of attention, but I think a lot of people kind of skipped on it because it's got that look and it's a visual novel, and there's a lot of things about it where you kind of just immediately gotta go, I probably don't want to play that. But it is amazingly written. It is, first of all, it hits the cyberpunk notes perfectly, but not in that you're the hero, you're the center of the universe, in that very, it's happening outside of the main story kind of way, which I love, that kind of secondary narrative. And it touches on some very controversial, risque topics that are very important to talk about, but it does it in a very human, understanding, realistic way that I don't feel other games, other books, other movies, even the coverage of those things rarely does. It had a very smart understanding of how human beings work. That said, also not safe for work, not around children, so keep that in mind.
I actually tried that at TwitchCon, and I loved it. So I'll give you a secondary on the Valhalla there. Really, really good game. Absolutely. All right.
It's also got some actual game too. The bartending stuff is actually fun. It's not just click through text.
Yeah, no, the bartending part was fun. The soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack's so good.
I am a soundtrack person. If you know me at all, you know that music is a huge part of my enjoyment of a gaming experience, and Valhalla has a really good soundtrack. Definitely. So, I know we just got started, it feels like, but we are already starting to run out of time. So, I promised I would ask this question, and we're going to start with Cass and Matt, and then we will go to Chris. So, everyone at Evolve, I mean, we're humans, we're people. We have hobbies outside of video games, believe it or not. Well, Matt kind of does. So, Cass's big thing is hockey. And believe me, if you've been in our work chat for all of even a few minutes, you know that Cass likes hockey. So, Cass, what was your favorite hockey moment this past year?
I'm going to be very selfish, and I'm going to be very upfront. I'm a Habs fan, so any of my favorite moments are going to be favorite Habs moments. So, I mean, take this with a grain of salt, because I'm sure there are a lot of my Pittsburgh friends that would very, very disagree with my opinion. But my favorite moment so far was actually just recently. We won a game freaking 10-1 after having 3 games where we just played so freaking shitty. But we came home and won 10-1, and it was just the best after having to watch us have a terrible, terrible away spree. So that would be mine, the recent game. Yeah.
All right. So Matt, what is your big thing outside of work and video games and that kind of thing?
Work and video games. No, I mean I've got. I mean, as I said earlier, I like horror movies. I like beer, but there's nothing I'm really super passionate about outside of video games. It's kind of what I've grown up with. But one weird facet of video games that I have a unnecessarily strong love for is video pinball. Is pinball in general. Video pinball now, because it's impossible to find real pinball without paying just absurd amounts of money. And I don't know. I guess I know the question already. It's the best thing I did this year for pinball, really, right?
You got it. What was your, what came out this year that really excited you the most, or anything like that?
So, I mean, there isn't really a lot of video pinball stuff that goes on. It's basically pinball arcade and Zen pinball. And there's been a lot of really good pinball arcade tables. Bethesda pinball looks interesting, but the weird underdog of video pinball that came out on early access this year, and that I think is not necessarily a good game, but a very, very interesting game, is Zakaria Pinball. Zakaria is a B-tier pinball manufacturer. They made a lot of tables earlier than Williams and Midway, so we're talking back to the early 70s. And they are Italian-made, mainly for the South American market, if I remember correctly, and they are coin suckers of the nth degree. Not well designed, huge bottom grades, huge side grades, bizarre art, but they have this really weird sense of heart and just curiosity to them, where it's like going through the world's craziest antique store playing through Zakaria Pinball. And it's kind of cheap on Steam. You can piecemeal the tables. I totally recommend just the basic table, just the basic packets free, playing the base table, just going this is so weird. This is the weirdest version of pinball I've ever played. It is the deadly premonition of pinball in my mind.
Now, if any of you have spent any time whatsoever in the vicinity of Chris, you don't even need to talk to him directly. You would know that he has a little bit of a passion for board games. Just a small one. So that's why I waited until the end to ask this question. We love you, Chris. Let's hear it. What was your board game of the year? And chat, you might be wondering, why is she asking these questions? Well, after Chris is done talking, I'm going to reveal some pretty cool information for you about what we've got coming in the new year, and this is actually going to be relevant, so pay attention, take notes, there will be a test. Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, I think you might be overstating my passion a bit.
Really?
So, no, not at all. So, my game of the year for me would be... Now, it's weird because I'm looking at myself on Twitch and there's lag, but whatever. Is a game called Food Chain Magnet, which is from a Dutch publisher. It is a fairly complex game, but one where you are essentially managing a fast food chain and will win by making the most money. And what's great is that you establish these corporate structures with tons of cards, and it's super exciting. And look at all the wood. There's so much wood. It's beautiful. It's a bit of a cop-out because the game actually came out in 2015, but really became mostly available as of 2016. Fantastic game. If you want to see a good review, definitely check out the review by Shut Up and Sit Down. It's really entertaining. And I want to make a shout-out also to a Canadian company, actually, called Underground. This was my vote for the... I do love my wood. This was essentially my vote for the underdog game. So this is called Allegiance: A Realm Divided. For any of you who are fans of Magic the Gathering but do not want to commit to the cost, Allegiance is for you. It's made by a company in Alberta and is absolutely worth the price. It might seem pricey. Mine cost me $70, but it's hefty. It's really good. I've replayed this several times. All my friends who have been Magic fans have enjoyed it, and they really, really deserve to get the support from people. I could go on. I will not, but go on.
Thank you, Chris. So, I think we've sort of covered all of sort of the year in review. Looking forward, I've got some really cool news for you guys. We are actually... So, let me back up. This is the last episode of the Evolve Show for the year. We will not have a show next week or the week after, just because it's Christmas and, everyone's going to be busy. So, we are going to be launching a new version of the Evolve Show starting January 12th. Yes, it's exciting. I'm excited. It's going to be great. We're changing up the format a bit. It is still going to be, I'm still going to be hosting, but we are going to, we're really switching up the format. Going to have some different segments for you guys and that kind of thing. We will still definitely have the guests on that we've had before. We're still looking to be Oh my gosh, Derp Digital with the horrible pun. Thank you. Ayo. But Tish, thank you. Yes, we are evolving. That show is going to be January 12th, as I said. First week of January, I'm at MagFest. So there's another announcement. If you are going to be at MagFest, both myself and Haley, who was on in the previous half hour, will be at MagFest. You see us. I probably will not be wearing this shirt because I'm going just myself. But come up, say hi, wave. It's going to be a good time. January 12th, again, guys, the show, we are doing a relaunch. We're reformatting. I think you're really going to like what's going on. You're going to see... you're going to get to learn more about the Evolve employees, what they do when they're not being Evolve employees, get to really dig into some of their hobbies. We're going to have possibly some competition style thing coming for you guys. I don't want to go into it too much because we'll spoil it. But it's going to be really great. So I hope that you guys will come around and join us January 12th, where we're reformatting. Drink, yes, as Jesse said.
I mean, we can.
We can, if you want. I do have apple juice here, so there you go.
That's totally what we're aiming for.
Yeah. Yeah, so I hope you guys will join us then. As for now, this is goodbye to 2016 from all of us to all of you. Do you guys have any other last words before we say goodnight for the night?
Yeah, happy holidays.
Have a good winter break. If you're lucky enough to get some time off, enjoy it.
Yes, if you work retail, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck to all the retail people out there. All right, guys. Goodbye.
Have a happy holidays. Enjoy, and for the love of God, play all the board games possible.
There you go.
And now, before he goes on more, bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, chat. From all of us to all of you, have a happy holidays, and we will see you in 2017. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.